talking about live video strategies, the advanced version. $30,000 product launch from a company, a brand who's just over a year old with 2,800 YouTube subscribers and 9,000 Facebook followers. We have one woman who has been in business for 5 years, who went live, got 0 engagement, and with one tactic was able to increase her comments to 200 per episode. A dynamic duo who has been able to increase their live videos by 400%. The stories and the strategies and the tips that I'm going to share with you today are actually real stories from real people building real businesses using live video as their primary strategy. The reason that I'm doing this, I don't really like to showcase huge, crazy numbers from big brands. I've worked with them, I have them, but, or influencers with millions of followers, because the truth and the reality is most people aren't there yet. So if you aren't there, then the tips and strategies that you'll learn today will actually help you create a more effective live video strategy. If you are there, how many of you have over, a million subscribers? All right, we've got one in the back. Fantastic. 2. Okay, so if you are there, then you're going to be able to, pick and choose some strategies that you can add to what you're already doing and find some additional success. I care about sharing real stories and looking at real, unique use cases because I used to be one of the big names. So I was being able to bring in 100,000 downloads per episode. I was doing influencer deals for $120,000. You see, I started in 2005. My show was called Geek Brief TV, and I was doing tech news and reviews. This was before YouTube was even a thing, and I was one of the very first video podcasters to have a show available. Then over 10 years, I was able to gather 2 million social media followers. I found myself on stage with Norm Macdonald, Chris Angel, Tom Green, Penn Jillette, all kinds of people over the years. I've done 4,000 videos. I was happy to receive this, but like Owen said, 1 billion video views, and I was inducted into the Podcasters Hall of Fame this year. And then it all kind of fell apart. So I had a business partnership that went pretty bad, and I was forced to rebrand. And so I had to say, okay, what do I want to do now? Now that I've done tech news and reviews for 10 years, I'm kind of bored of it. I don't want to be doing the sponsorship model anymore, and influencer deal anymore. So I started teaching what I'd learned, and I had to look at, because I was completely rebranding, I went from my old name, Callie Lewis, stopped using that entirely, which was my entire brand, and I started using my real name, Luria Petrucci. And so when I was doing all of this, I realized I am completely starting from scratch again, and I had to look at what had I done over the last 10 years that worked. What had I done that didn't work? What was working now? So what could I do now for myself to rebuild my brand, for my clients and my students? And as I put more strategy into my live videos and really started focusing on this stuff that you're gonna see, I saw a 289% increase month-over-month revenue. And then a couple months later, we were able to achieve 320% increase. And then over the last year, I've built live video studios, well, me, David back there running the live stream, built video studios for Michael Hyatt, Pat Flynn, Amy Porterfield, and I've been asked to share my knowledge at all of these awesome places. So today we're going to focus on 3 strategies. We're going to talk about how you stand out above the crowd. Then we're going to be talking about content strategy, the things that you need to be putting into place so that your entire content is also tied in with your marketing strategy. Then we're going to be talking about your show flow for your live video. It is different, and it needs to be taken into consideration when you have engagement with live video versus your recorded videos. So, strategy number 1, professional live video. This is how you're going to stand out. There are 4 levels of live streaming. So we're going to go through all of this, and I'm going to go through it quickly, but you have a card at your table that was left on your chair. You will be able to get access to all of this information, so don't worry. Level 1 is the selfie stream. It is exactly what it sounds like. You're holding your phone up. It's raw. It's fun. It's using what you already have available to you free. Then level 2 is the mobile gear. So you're adding some gear to your phone so that you have more professional mobile streams. Now, level 1 and 2 are as vital as level 3 and 4, and so I will explain that here in a minute. You can use iOgrapher. You've got Beast Grip as an option. You can use the DJI Osmo Mobile on level 2. Level 2.5 is browser and apps. So you may have heard Be Live. The live stream Mevo, Switcher Studio. By the way, I'm on a panel tomorrow at 1:15. You'll hear more about Switcher Studio then, so I hope you'll join us. Level 3 is a USB setup, and this is more, just an easier way of getting more professional live streams without a huge setup. You can do simple yet good. And Ecamm is actually, so my student, Rumble's Paleo, Jenny, she does this with Ecamm, which most people are not using Ecamm as well as it can be used. So she's being able to put overlays and give it a more professional look. Level 4 is a dedicated setup. So this is a studio environment. You have a dedicated PC. And I'm about to say something that everybody here is probably going to hate me for. PCs are better than Macs for live streaming. So no throwing tomatoes at me. PCs are, in fact, better for live video than a Mac is. I won't get into all the tech mumbo-jumbo right now, but I just want to point that out. HDMI or SDI camera. A level 4 is essentially more gear, and this is Michael Hyatt's studio that we built. This is a level 4 Pro, so he has a lot of additional stuff, trussing, soundproofing, all of that stuff. But you can have the same dedicated space on a smaller scale if you desire. In your home, your office, it doesn't take a lot of room. So the gear guide, livestreamingpros.com/vidsummit. I just want to point out that if you put your email in here, we will deliver this revamped version that we're working on. Tech recently changed, and more than I care about giving you a gear guide right this second, I more care about giving you appropriate information for what you're trying to accomplish. So we are in the middle of revamping that. That will come to you ASAP. 2 kinds of live video that you can do. Live shows, which if you're doing live video, most likely you're probably doing this. It's content, it's value driven. You're on a set, or you're doing some kind of, you are there Monday at 10 a.m., you're there for your audience, right? Then you have live streams. Now this is key to pair with your live show, your live streams. These are more raw. This is where the level 1, level 2 stuff comes into play. I'm stand-up paddleboarding, just hanging out with my audience. We are engaging the audience from that perspective. Now, when you mix the 2 together, it's a lot harder for a lot of people to draw a regular audience to their weekly live show if they're not using live streams in addition to that. And the reason being, you are building know, like, and trust. You are getting people to engage with you on a human level so that they want to show up each and every week, so that they want to set an alarm like Owen Video does for my show. Set that alarm for Thursday, or Tuesday as well. So why do you want to go more professional? Why do you want to spend that time and effort and money into a more professional setup? If you don't know already, it's all about the credibility. This guy and this guy both teach marketing and business advice on YouTube. This guy and this guy. So if you're browsing around YouTube, who are you going to choose to listen to? This is A, this is B. Show of hands. Who's choosing A? You guys, I said show of hands. No show of hands. All right, so B? There we go. It's all about the credibility. We put so much time and effort and money into our channels, into our videos, into our websites. This live video is absolutely no different, right? All right, so this presents an opportunity. No one else is doing this. Very few people, in fact, are doing this. So this is your opportunity to stand out. And by the way, in 2018, realize that live video on the TV screens is coming in a big way. Facebook and YouTube are putting more effort into live video on the TV apps than they ever have before. And so it's going to be vitally important that you are prepared to make sure you have good quality video that people want to watch. Sean Cannell here is actually speaking. Make sure you catch his session. He has been doing a lot of live video, and this is what his live video looked like before David started working with him, set him up for a level 4 setup using vMix, and now this is what his show looks like. So you can see the difference, right? So it's worth putting that effort into. And he is very happy. He's saying it's more stress-free. He's solved all kinds of AV sync issues, and he definitely has seen brand improvement. So I just really want to quick point out the difference between live streams and live shows. I'm talking about all these professional live shows, right? And I'm talking about these live streams. What I don't want you to walk away doing is thinking, okay, so I am going to go really professional, and then I'm going to go really raw. So when I do live streams, I'm actually using what I call pro hacks so that my live streams are actually as good as they possibly can be using just the phone. So what I've done is I have opened up, I've given you a free coupon to download my mobile live video workshop just for VidSummit, and I wanted to make sure that you walk away with everything you possibly need to get going on even just your mobile device. So you can get that at livestreamingpros.com/VidSummit. Strategy number 2, content strategy. So here's the thing. Some of you may already be doing some of these things, but you've got to take some traditional basic marketing strategies, and you have to take what you're not already doing and mix the two for the most effective strategy. So I always start at the end, at the finish line. And so what I mean by that is I have the free content over here, right? My live show is my free content, recorded video, whatever, right? Then in the middle, I have my opt-in, freebie, my lead magnet, whatever term you want to use. And so if you're not doing that already, I'd highly encourage you to think about implementing this strategy. Then I have my end product, my product, the service. And the reason that I start here when I'm thinking about content is that I want to draw a straight line through all the way to the free content. And I know that by starting here, because I'm confident that my products and my services are going to make a massive difference to my audience, if I start here and keep going this way, then I know that even if they never move away from the free content, they are getting massive value from me, right? Because it's all tied in together, and we're taking a step, and then a step, and then a step. Does that make sense to everybody? So there are 2 ways you can do live video. Live for leads. We're talking lead generation, brand awareness, community engagement. And this is something that you do on a regular basis, and your freebies may actually vary a little bit in between all of your content. They are relevant to your end goal, though. I use messenger bots to deliver my content, to deliver my freebies. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. Who's not familiar with messenger bots? Okay, so so this is Facebook only. This is not YouTube. Sorry, YouTubers, but this is a Facebook strategy. So I ask my audience to, while they're in the live video, I ask my audience to type LSP challenge or checklist or freebie or whatever in the comments. So while I'm live, people are commenting with a particular keyword, and then on the back end, automatically, my page is sending them that freebie, whatever they're asking for. That's their opt-in, essentially, right? And so they are, we are having this communication, and they are getting the thing that I've promised them in that live video. If you take a look at my numbers, these are my exact numbers, and my click-through rate, 23.5 is the worst click-through rate I have. Email is nowhere near that. Does anybody have a 23% click-through rate in their email list? Probably not, right? So that's why I love it, but I also love it because of the viewer experience. So I am all about the viewer experience. Everything I teach, everything I do is all about the viewer. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they experiencing? And so with a messenger bot, 80% of people are watching live video on their mobile phone, right? So you're live, you're giving them a call to action, and that call to action to visit your URL, what choices are you giving them? You're giving them choice 1, remember that URL. Right? And that's not going to happen. Choice number 2, leave my live video, go visit that URL. You don't want that. They don't want that. It's a bad viewer experience. And so messenger bots actually help with that. It takes that choice away. It's happening and it's convenient. So the other way you can do it is live for launches. So live for launches is really all about a promotional period that you're pushing towards. And this could be pushing towards a product, it could be pushing towards a service, it could be pushing towards a Patreon campaign, for goodness sakes. You could do the 4-week promo period, and everything is super, super, super targeted. All your opt-ins, you have one opt-in for that entire 4-week program instead of delivering a different opt-in for each show. So a cycle for this would look like 3 months list building, 1 month promotional period, live for launches. Now, what you can't do is actually only go live for launch. Like, you can't always be promoting something for sale, right? Like, if you do that, you're going to lose your audience. I think we're all clear on that. I want you to meet Brian and Carrie. Brian and Carrie are 2 of the most dynamic, awesome people I've ever met. They are mindset coaches, and they help you eliminate your limits. So they do a daily show now. When we started working with them, they were doing a weekly show, and they were doing it from the floor of their living room. Literally, they were sitting on the floor. They upgraded to chairs for this video. So then we upgraded them to a more professional studio. And we were able to see with these strategies a 400% increase in their live viewers. So this is something that I really want to dig into because it's one of the most common questions I get asked, specifically on Facebook, but I'm going to tie it to YouTube as well. So on Facebook, people are always like, oh, you know, I have my profile and I have my page. I get more engagement over here on my profile, so I think I'm just going to go live over there. I want you on your page and on your profile, and I'm going to show you how, but I want you on your page so that you can have an ad strategy and so you can have a marketing strategy there. Now, you can tie this into YouTube. If you have a YouTube page or channel that you're really trying to push people to, then you can use some of the same strategies that you're about to see to move people from Facebook to YouTube. Okay, so we used live streams very efficiently and strategically here. This is an example of what we were doing. So you can see they're not paying attention to this camera. They're looking at a different camera. So what we did was their page was streaming to one phone, and they were looking at and delivering content there. Then what this angle is off to the side behind all of the gear. Then they had another phone going to Carrie's profile. And so every once in a while, she would actually turn from the main page over to the profile, and she would say, hey guys, over there, hey, you're in the cheap seats, come on over here, get your butts over to the page, right? And so there would be a link in the description on the profile to join over there. When she opened up, or when we started working together, that page was completely brand new, 0 engagement. We soon saw all the engagement on the profile or on the page versus the profile. So now she has all of her effort there. But another thing that we did was, this was Christmas last year, she wanted to do her grandmother's shortbread recipe. And so we teased it on the profile. She said, hey, this is amazing. These are the most amazing cookies I've ever had. I'm going to share my grandmother's recipe. Are you ready? ha, tease, we're going over to the page, right? So come join us over on the page. And that worked like gangbusters. So this is where they were doing the page. She completely botched the recipe, completely screwed it up. Brian was putting on a facial mask. It was a crazy stream, but it works, right? And that's what people love. So we've been able to see like 800 plus comments for their live videos. And this is what I want you to see, how they engage their audience. So her audience, their audience, is called The Crew. So Brian and Carrie Crew. So I'm just going to set that up.
What do you think, Brian? That's right, Jeff. I heard him. We reach out there and grab you by the body part of your choice and pull you into the hug, because Crew Nation is one big global family. Families don't require blood or biology, so I say unto you, where my crew at? Crew! Yes!
And so what happens then is they do this at the beginning of every show, and her audience, their audience, I don't know why I keep saying hers, their audience will type in crew. They'll chime in. And so this is a trained behavior that you can absolutely do with your audience. So that's what they do at the beginning of every show, and it works. Another thing is we've been able to really increase shares with them. They are fantastic at activating their audience. So this share, they were seeing over 100 shares, and this is what they do for this.
On this together right now, spread the word, spread the message. Let's get the share rocking. Choo-choo! Press the share button. Tell all your friends, family, and colleagues.
I mean, it's silly, it's fun, right? But it's activating their audience, and their audience is actually trained to talk to each other and say, guys, you're not sharing it. Like, somebody is literally, that we have a share team. I forget what we called them last year, but we had a share team, and their sole job was to make sure that people were sharing that video, right? And so they're activating the audience. So let's talk more about messenger bots. Laura Smith is from iHeart Planners. She helps busy moms with planning, and so they can get things done. She had what most people have with their live video experience: 0 engagement. She's been in business for 5 years. She has 25,000 likes on her page, and she was getting 1 comment on her live video. Now, here's the thing. If you are not already getting your audience engaged, live video is going to be harder to get people engaged. You have to get them to talk to you, and we'll talk about a couple of things that you can do. She was seeing 500 reach in her on her live videos, and then she implemented this one strategy of bots. She said, type in, send me my freebie, and it was a free checklist or a recipe or something. She got she's getting consistently 200 plus comments per live video now, just from that one thing. And the kicker is all the algorithms, whatever platform you're on, when they see engagements, they give you more reach, which equals potential of new views, right? So now she's seeing 3,000 organic reach, which has only been 6 weeks in, so that number is continuing to climb. And so she's now, I mean, she's already getting sales, and she hasn't even sold anything. So imagine when she actually starts to sell through messenger bots, she's gonna see results. And I'm gonna use myself as a third case study. We just recently finished a $30,000 product launch. We used a combination of Jeff Walker's product launch formula and Amy Porterfield's webinars that convert program. And then we added our magic on top of that, and I will explain what I mean by that. So we did 7 targeted live shows. So if we do 2 shows a week, and so if you take that 1-month promo I talked about, that is the 7 targeted live shows. And when it comes to promotion of your live shows, I am shocked at how many people do not actually take into consideration all their assets. You have social media assets. You have your email list if you're building an email list. You have your in-person network. You have so many assets available to you. Use them. This is one thing that most people don't do, is email their list about their live shows. And I don't understand it because it's incredibly effective. So what you can do is, one thing that we do is like 10 to 15 minutes, make sure that people have, before we go live, make sure people have an email that says, hey, we're going live. This is the reason you want to join us. Or you can do this the morning before, the day before, whatever, and you're driving traffic to. Now, you can't do this for every show, especially if you're going to do live shows every day, right? But when you're in a live for launch promo period, then guess what? This is your time to really hit it hard. We also did 3 promotional live streams during this session. And everything we did, all of those live streams, live shows, were sending people to a free webinar. So it was all a registration for a webinar. And this is what I mean by our magic. So this is what we call Webinars 2.0. This is not the traditional webinar that we've all been to with slides and voiceover. This is what you can do with a level 4 setup. So we're moving back and forth between me on camera, full screen, the pip of the slide plus me, then the slide full screen. And so it's just constantly engaging and moving back and forth. And the people can see you, which is what people need to see in order for you to sell, right? And so when I say we added our magic, what I mean is that that's our magic. That's the thing that we do really well. The technical part of it, me on camera, all of that is our thing. And so I would really encourage you here at VidSummit to learn all the strategies that you're learning, but add what you do best because you have your own magic. And so I believe that all of that together was what allowed us to get a 34% conversion rate on our webinar. Industry standard is, what, 5%, 5-7%? And so we were able to achieve we did 2 webinars, one 31% conversion rate. The second one was 34% conversion rate. And so that's our magic. That's all of the pieces tied together. And live video was our really main driver to that webinar. So let's talk about ads. We did this for the webinar and also for our regular live shows consistently. We do we look for what I call a successful audience or a successful show, and what I mean by that is there were no tech issues. The content was on target. The audience was engaged. It was the right audience for us. And then what we do is we run a lookalike campaign against that. And then we take that lookalike audience and we send them an ad for a freebie, an opt-in, whatever you want to call it. And so doing this, we're getting, honestly, we're only spending $6 a day, and we're doing 100 to 150 leads each day, and we're paying 5 cents per conversion. So we're about to increase that when we fix a couple of things on the back end. And so, you know, that is a strategy that has worked extremely well for us all year long. Now, on YouTube, you can do the same thing, except it's called a similar audience. I don't run YouTube ads, but similar audience versus lookalike audience. So let's talk about your show flow. This is massively important. Okay, so there are 2 mistakes that people make with their live videos, and you have seen both of these. The first one is the "can you hear me now?" All right, we're live. All right, I think we're live, so I'm just gonna wait. Can you let me know if people show up, if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything's working? 30-second delay. Just gonna wait. Come on, guys. That is, you got to think about the audience experience, right? You've got to think about the replay viewers. That is not a good experience for your viewers. You got to get in and you got to move. The second mistake that people make is the chasing squirrels. So that looks like, all right, I am going to give you the secret to life. This is going to change your life because it's going to make you live longer. All right, are you ready? Oh my gosh, hey, Amy, I'm so happy to see you. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad that you showed up today. All right, so the secret is if you want to live longer, you are going to do this one. Oh my gosh, Dave, you just went to Hawaii, didn't you? Oh, you know what? I saw all your pictures, and it was amazing, and go on and on and on about Hawaii. Dude, you just said that you were going to tell me how to live longer. Where is the tip, right? So those are the 2 biggest mistakes that I see people make with their live show flow. You got to structure your live shows so that it's effective and not annoying people. So when you're talking about engagement, you want to make sure that if you're not getting the engagement that you are hoping for, then you are giving your audience easy wins. It's all about the easy wins at every step of the process. And what I mean by that is you're asking yes or no questions. So I have a question of the day for every live show I do. And so at the very beginning, I will ask that question, and I will repeat that question throughout. But it's a yes or no question. It's an easy win. If 80% of people are watching live video on their phones, then they're probably got groceries in their hands. They're probably doing other things. They're on the move. You can't ask them to write a book to you. And so most people do ask for long engagement, right? So yes or no questions, quick answers. So let's talk about how you structure your show. First, you've got the tease. This is no different than the recorded videos that you're probably already doing. Your tease, tell them what you're gonna get. And this is only for the replay viewers, not even the live viewers, because no one's there yet. Then you're gonna introduce yourself, always introduce yourself. Actually, Sean Cannell introduces himself fantastically each and every time, very consistently. If you need some motivation, go watch his. Ask for the engagement. And here's where people get it wrong. They ask for the engagement, and then they wait for the engagement. There is a delay in live video. So what you wanna do is create a buffer. Ask for the engagement, then answer the question yourself, right? Turn it around on you. That shows them that you're trustworthy because it's creating that know, like, and trust. And so ask for the engagement, then answer the question immediately. By the time you're done answering your own question, you should have some comments, and then you can engage. If you don't have any comments at that point, don't even mention it. Just keep moving along. That buffer works both if you have engagement or if you don't. Then you go to the value, then you engage and you repeat that. What I mean by that is that you are segmenting your audience or your live show. You've got value, then you're moving to engagement. You don't even look at the comments while you're giving the value, if that's gonna distract you. Then you segment again. You're doing value, then you repeat for the engagement. Summarize, call to action. All right, real quick, one other thing, the pre-show. A lot of people watch us do our pre-show, and we do that for a number of reasons, but most people then walk away doing it wrong. So I want to point this out. The pre-show is got to be tied in to your live show. If your live show is promising one thing and you have a 5 or 10 minute pre-show and people are coming in for that show and you're talking about chocolate, well, they're going to leave, right? You're losing those viewers. So the content of the pre-show needs to be tied into the show. All right, so I'm going to ask you to commit to doing one of these things over the next couple months. Focus on increasing your quality. Are you going to work on your content strategy, or are you going to focus on the show flow? And if you haven't done any live video, then show flow is where you want to start. So has everybody decided? Pick one. All right. If you are going to increase your quality, stand up. Work with me here. Commit. There we go. What about number 2? Content strategy. Woohoo! Show flow. There we go. You guys can find all the resources at livestreamingpros.com/vidsummit, and I would love to hear from you out in the hallway and learn from you what you're doing too. Thank you so much.